Hey everybody, this is Brian Merrill. This is Tattooed in Business. It is Memorial Day weekend, and we are doing a quick, well, nothing's ever seems to be quick, but a quick broadcast just to reach out to everyone, tell everyone Happy Memorial Day, kind of talk about the differences. So for those who don't understand, so there's three different days that represent veterans. So there's Armed Forces Day, which is the day that you represent, that you're there to celebrate all current and active duty members of the military. There's Veterans Day, which is where you celebrate those who have served and fought for our country. And then there's Memorial Day. Memorial Day is where we celebrate those who did not make it home. This is not for people that are currently in. This is not for veterans. This is for those who did not make it home. It's a memory of them. Um, I remember when we used to talk about the poppy seeds and all that, and the poppies and playing the poppy fields, and it kind of is lost. I don't know if they even still talk about that stuff in school anymore. But again, it's Memorial Day weekend. Hope everyone's out there enjoying themselves. Bonfires. We have some good weather in upstate New York. Uh, Family, friends, just taking it in and enjoying your time with the people that you love and care about, and having some fun. So, um, so topic today I chose is to kind of talk about, the price of success. So we all want success, and we define success differently. It could be money, could be having the career we wanted, debt free, bill free, whatever you want to say. It could be being a great parent. It could be however you define success. But there's always a price you got to pay, right? So if I'm going to focus on being a great dad, okay, and that's my focus, then I'm going to have to, then there's things that are going to go to the back burner, right? So if I'm, and it could be other friendships. It could be, it could be totally, it could be how much time you spend at work. It all depends on how you view success for you, and what sacrifices you're willing to make. So a few years ago, and I'm supposed to write this letter. So I'm going to write this letter this weekend that I really don't want to write, but I'm going to write it anyhow because my counselor and a spiritual advisor has basically told me they feel I need to write this letter to express my feelings or whatever, which I really could give a shit about. But eh, we all make choices in life and where we want to be and what we want to do. And there's a price to pay at some point. And sometimes you get it back. Sometimes you figure out that maybe it's not worth it. But for me, um, I guess it's been a solid 2 years now that I committed to the final stage in my transformation in my journey. It started, what are we, 2023. So it's 19. So it started in the end of 2019. So probably more like 3 years that I committed to a total lifestyle change. And quite honestly, there wasn't a lot of people there that was behind me on it. I decided that I was sick and tired of sitting around drinking after work, bitching about everything. I didn't want to be in that negativity anymore. I didn't want to just, I guess I sat there and I said, everybody sits there and makes comments to you about how, um, you put yourself in your own situation, and then you'll be around people that say, oh, you're never going to see that. You're never going to, I guess I never like wanted to commit to the, oh yeah, you're never going to have. I did get my daughter back. I did get the things that I wanted in my divorce. It took time. It took, a lot of efforts. It took a lot of sucking up your pride. Um, but I gave up. I mean, so to me, that's what success was. What success was getting my kids back in my life, getting my family back, getting um, back in to the point where I wasn't drinking every night. And I'm not saying I was an alcoholic or a drunk or anything like that, or the guys that I hung out with are, you know. it just, for me, I have stomach issues. It hurts my stomach. So when I literally tell someone, hey, this hurts my stomach, I don't want to hear pussy, vagina. I don't want to hear all these name call. It physically fucking hurts. And if you want to switch places with me and go through the crap that I go through with my stomach, go ahead. I mean, I'll switch places with anybody any day. And it's funny because, you get all these people make all these comments and they think that that they are happy and everything. And if you find happiness in putting someone else down, if that's how you determine your success, if your success has anything to do with not being not being successful, or them failing for you to get farther in front of them, or ahead of them, that's wrong. You know what I mean? When you define success, you got to define it as something that you are in control of and that you can control. Reasonable. So I happen to be in the right place at the right time in my work, and I had to run with it. So I've run with it. I had to pick up the ball and start running. I've made mistakes, but I'm running with it. I paid off all my debt, and for my back business, I paid off all my personal debt now, and it has felt amazing. And I've had all these people tell me that you're not going to be able to do this. You're never going to be able to do this. All these things just like putting me down. And reality is fuck you. I did it. I had to get away from that people that give you the tools to fail. And what I mean by giving you the tools to fail, they're going to give you the excuses. They're going to give you these things because it keeps you on the same playing field, right? And you might have to part ways in order to move forward. And as someday, hopefully they wake up and they realize that, they want to be around you. So I've talked about the circles, right? And some people get it very confused. I'm not telling you got to fucking get rid of the people you hang out with and all that. I don't mean that by any means. But what I do mean is if that circle is a negative one beating you down, then yes, then you get away from it. But you're going to have different circles of people in your life. And you're going to have people that maybe aren't as successful as you. And that's okay, because it's not a competition in life with other people. The competition is with yourself. To have your own well-being. This last week, I had a horrible week, right? Melting down at work and shit. Like I freaking finally had it. I started pushing back and found out that, things I was doing wasn't supposed to be doing. Other people, it was their job to be handling it. But I had to get through it. People, just little snide comments. Did you do this? Did you do this? And being right the whole fucking time, but it's not about being right. It's about moving forward. And that's what I try to get across to people. I had this, this came out one day and it was so stupid. But I've come back to it a few times. I always sit there and be right. I'm going to work on getting a resolution to this. Okay. And it's not about being right. It's about being able to move forward. That's what success is. Success is moving forward in life, having the lifestyle that you want. And everyone says, well, I deserve this. Well, I deserve that. Let me tell you something. You don't deserve shit in life, okay? You earn shit. Okay, you earn it in life. I deserve this. I deserve that. Oh, we all deserve to be happy. Well, no, you got to find it internally first, man. You got to find happiness within yourself, and then you get to have it. We just sit there. We have this this mentality, it seems like, of entitlement, and you are entitled to jack shit. I tell everyone that you are entitled to what you create for yourself. And I believe in karma. I believe in the power of the universe. I believe in manifestation. And I believe I've been able to manifest myself into a better person. And I'm not there where I want to be yet. I'm having some issues as far as getting to the physique I want. There's things that I can't change. Okay. I got vitiligo. All right. A few years ago, it fucking kicked in and I started losing the pigment in my hands, and that was no big deal. And then I started losing my face, and now my eyes, and now around my eyes I have it. And I can't control that. But what does that have to do with the success in life or the things I want in life? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. There ain't nothing fucking wrong with me. You know what I mean? And I can sit there and bitch about little things like that. I can bitch about the problems I've had with my liver. I could sit every day and bitch about my freaking spine being fused. You know, I'll be goddamn. I'm not going to let that doctor who told me I'll never be able to run again win. I'm going to fucking do it. I got a half mile in last year. I was in a lot of pain. This year, I'm going to get a whole mile in. And honestly, I've decided that I want to try to train for a Spartan challenge. You know, I mean, it was on my bucket list, and I started making excuses on why I can't do it. There's no fucking reason I can't do it. It's in your head. A lot of things are in your head. Yes, you are going to have physical things as we get older, especially, that happen. But that doesn't have to define you. You don't have to settle for things. You know, and a price of success, it can be very lonely. You know, I made a choice to change. I made a choice to I'm going to wind up moving here probably by the fall. And my mom, she made a choice to move to North Carolina. It was a good move for her. She'll see in 1 year from now, we won't be talking about the same type of stuff. I guarantee you that. But we all have to make changes to get to that success we want. And sometimes you're going to feel lost, like you're by yourself and you're all alone and lonely. You know, sometimes everyone's, the top of the mountain is lonely, right? You know, I've said this several times, whether anybody ever realizes it or not, in my head, a lot of times I'm not there. You know, I mean, I could be sitting in a room full of people and I still am the loneliest person in the room, and you may never know that. I don't have social anxieties. I don't have any of that type of stuff. I view things differently than a lot of people. And there's price to be paid. I'm an intense person. And that's what it took for me to become successful, is being intense, being on top of things, going that extra mile, working that extra hour, working that extra whatever I had to do to set myself apart. I didn't have a college degree, and I was going into jobs that everyone's got a 4-year degree and knows, or their buddy with so-and-so and all that. And I had to learn how to compete. And I refused to be a snake. I mean, it just didn't work. Doesn't work for me. And I don't believe in that. I believe people that act like that, they're insecure and they're shitty. They're shitty salespeople. But and I guarantee if you look at their life outside work, it's the fucking same, you know. And what bothers me now, I guess, is that is I'm in a good place for the first time in a long, long time. And I don't mean like, I'm doing okay. I mean, like, I'm fucking doing great. Like, eat better. I exercise, which I got to get back in the swing, get more consistent. I love my job. I love, I tell you, I'm a person who likes the stress. And if I'm not stressing, then if there's not stress at work, if there's not deadlines, there's not, then for me, like I call it controlled chaos. I struggle with that. Like, we used to joke around, the guys that I hang out with and talk about, even in my dating life, they're like, I'm like, oh yeah, so-and-so, she's crazy. I'm like, oh, don't tell me that. I got to have her now. And like, we joke around about that type of stuff, but I have that type of mentality where I am intense. I do relish having normal time and downtime and just relaxing. I miss that a lot, having someone to sit back and relax and just enjoy the moments with. I haven't had that in a long time, but I had to go through things to get there. And it's been a long, lonely road, honestly. Nobody could do it for me. Nobody gets me up at 4 a.m. but me. Nobody gets my ass going but me. It's just me. I have a son that lives with me. I think he still lives here anyways. I haven't seen him in a few weeks, but we talk. I have a daughter, and she is about to have like one of the best starts that I've ever had. And I wish her nothing but love and success, and I'm going to be right there to help her out, just like I will be for my son. And those were important things to me. And if that meant that I had to move away from things that were not what I wanted, then that's okay. And if it means it's a lonely place to be, then it's a lonely place to be. It's tough for me right now with my mom being in North Carolina because the last few years, my mom and I have gotten really, close. We've always been close, but we did get much closer. My father and I probably have a better relationship now than we did when he lived up here. Um, I think it's because uh, I realize he is who he is. Hopefully, he's finally starting to realize I am who I am. We don't have the same type of values um, and things. And plus, I got my stepmom to kick his ass in the gear and keep him grounded. But I mean, I had to wake up one day and realize that you got to just let shit go. If you want to be successful, you got to just let things go. So I finally, I guess it was 2 summers ago, almost just shy of 2 years ago, I finally got to have that conversation with the person that I'd hurt in a relationship that I really wanted to have. Needed to be able to say I was sorry to her face and try to just apologize for, the person that I was, but I'm not today. And one of those things she started in with me about things that she heard from a reliable source that I said, did all this stuff. Now, normally I would have defended myself and got argued, mad, and then pointed out and tried to, perception's reality, and I'd already paid the consequence for whatever those actions were. Were they exaggerated? Absolutely. But it doesn't necessarily mean that this is how they were perceived. But rather than arguing and starting that argument, I didn't. I let it go. I let it go. I've already suffered the consequences for it. I'm still suffering the consequences for it. And you move on. And that's the hard part. And I guess that's what part of this letter I'm supposed to write, right? It's about the transformation and the journey I've went through and to a certain person. And I'm very, thankful for what happened because it made me realize these things. But again, they weren't meant to hurt people or whatever, but I'm in a good place now. So, that's the gist of it. But reality is you're going to have people that don't want to see you succeed. You're going to have people who would rather you not do certain things or say because they don't like you having attention or whatever. I don't do any of this shit for attention. This is therapeutic for me. I hope it helps somebody else out. I've gone through very severe depressions in my life. I do have a little bit of PTSD, which if you can have a little, there's a little, right? I make mistakes. Just like anyone else, a few too many drinks in, I have a little bit of regret every now and then. And I talk about, things to certain people that I want gone, forgotten, but it's all about moving forward. And again, understand when you do this commitment to change your life, if you're doing that out there, if you're struggling and you change, there's going to be consequences. And the consequences you may see as negative, but they're not. Those who truly love you and support you and want to be with you, you don't have to chase. They will be in your life. And if you have to constantly chase them, then I guess it's time to move on. Now, people grow apart, and that doesn't mean they're bad people or you're a bad person. Sometimes your you're going in different directions. Like, I'm an empty nester, right? I don't have kids anymore at my house. I don't have kids going to school and all that. So being friends with people who do have kids, totally different, right? Now, I love kids. I'd love to have more kids. I mean, I'm not going to have more kids, obviously, but I love being around them. I love being around families. I'd miss those moments. And, everyone's going to go through this at some point in life. But I tell everyone, I was very fortunate. I got to be there for my kids and coaching and being there growing up and playing our board games, our Simpsons Sorry game at night, for the championship belt. And we used to cut promos on each other. It was so fun. And I got to have those things. I gave up things in order to get there. And I gave up the money. I gave up certain aspects of the jobs that I was going after. And I changed jobs to stay in front of my kids. And then you get to a point where kids are grown, so I'm going back to doing what makes me happy, and I enjoy it, and I love it, and I love the stress, and I love the chaos, and I love the work. I'm one of these people who I really enjoy working. And that being said, there's a price to pay, and it's being lonely. And by the time you get home, you don't have that same time frame and everything. And you hope that in my life, I hope I meet someone who has either the ability to accept and understand it or live in it and live in it, I should say. And if it happens, it will happen eventually. But it's just crazy about how we view things. But success is a lonely road, and there's always going to be a price you have to pay to be successful. And the biggest thing I could tell everybody is don't be fucking arrogant. My friend, my friend Al and I and Chucky and his wife Trish and everyone, we were talking a few weeks back after a tragedy, and we were playing cards and just shooting the shit and talking. But you start talking about it and you realize like all of us sitting in that room make a significant amount of money, and if you looked at it, you'd never be able to tell, and we don't. But then there's people that like I laugh and they sit there and they look at you and they look down at you because they remember you from this or that, but they look down at you, and I'm sitting there like I almost want to laugh and sit there and say, some of the people that have rejected me for whatever reasons, I just laugh because I'm doing better in life than you. And that's not a competition, but how dare you judge me? And how dare you put me down? And how dare you turn your nose to me when I'm sitting there thinking, you're not in my league. And then I'll have this person over here that doesn't think they're in my league that I'm absolutely chasing because I enjoy their energy. I enjoy their company. I enjoy their spirit. I enjoy them about it. And people will make that comment to you. And it's like, get rid of that whole notion, that whole mentality. Get rid of it all because that's not what it's about. Success is how you define it. And there's no different than a person that's making $2 million a year, successful running a business and all that, than the stay-at-home mom. That mom is doing something that I can't do, and it's whatever makes them happy. And, in reality that's what success is, what brings you happiness. And it does take a long road for a lot of us to get there, and it's lonely. And the only thing you can ever hope for is that it stops being so lonely. Or for me, I'm used to it. Is what it is. It's I hate that saying, but it is what it is. So on that note, I hope everyone has a great Memorial Day weekend. Please remember this is for the ones that didn't make it home. This is what the focus should be on. You get a chance to go to parades, barbecues, whatever, please do. Celebrate. Take your time to think about those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. So on that note, everyone have a great weekend. This is Brian, and this was Tattooed in Business, and I'm out.